Hey guys, welcome back. So today, this video is actually a response to a comment I got on my previous video about how mushrooms in fact bring you closer to God. And there was a guy who commented, his name's Justice Strong 74, and you know, this video is actually dedicated to you, brother. And I think it's a very special thing that when I am able to provoke change in someone else, in the world around me, this really touches me on a deep level, because that is what I've been put here to do. I've been put here to help humankind and help them to, you know, upgrade their life, upgrade their perspective and their awareness, and allow them to see life through a more pure and more purposeful way. And so as my channel is small and, you know, not flooded with comments or people commenting, I'm going to try my best to respond to the comments or to any questions that you guys may have. And, you know, thank you for commenting on my video. Like, it really does mean a lot to me. It kind of reflects back to me that the things that I'm putting out is getting seen and is helping the lives of others in some sense. And so that brings me to the point of my video, which is, if you haven't taken mushrooms before and you're wanting to do this, then these are some of the things I would advise you to do. So the first thing I want to say is, the best thing to do is to try and seek someone who has much experience with this, who has been through this experience and knows how to facilitate a space where you can take the substance and benefit from it. You see, so many people look at it as like a party drug or like a fun drug, you know, and this is not what it is. You know, if you take this powerful substance in the wrong setting, it's not going to have the effects that you're wanting them to have. It's not going to make your life better, especially if you're around people drinking alcohol, if you're around people, you know, partying, you know, because it really heightens your senses and it'll end up going bad. It'll end up backfiring on you. You need to take this substance in a space, like a ritualistic space, like a space that is created just for this, where there's other men going there to benefit from the better. So essentially, you want to find like a person, like a shamanic figure or someone who is guiding a group of men in an environment where they are going for the betterment of themselves. Essentially, you need someone who has created the space and the environment for that thing and only that thing, nothing else. This is the most important thing. You know, you can do it by yourself, but I would advise that, you know, the first time you do it, not to do it by yourself. Once you become more experienced, then you can dive deeper into doing it yourself. But essentially, you need someone who has set up the right environment with the right setting, the right music, the right people, someone you can trust, somewhere where it is safe and somewhere where it's comfy. And if you're cold, you have warmth, like a bed, like a space to lie down, or if you're hot, you have the space, you know, to go outside and be in nature, you know. But essentially, the first time you want to do it, you want to be doing it with someone who can lead you and who has experience in this sort of thing. This is the first and most important thing you must be aware of. You know, you can get together with a group of mates and do it somewhere in nature. This is another way to do it. You know, mates you really trust. The people you're with plays a very important part. You need to be with people you trust, people you can rely on, and be in a safe space. I can't stress this enough, guys. This is the most important thing that you have to be aware of, because this is a powerful medicine, and if you don't go in it with the right intention, then you're not going to come out enlightened to what you intended to go into it with. And another important aspect to think of is the things you're consuming prior to going on this journey. You want to be, 2 to 3 days before this experience, or even longer, you want to be eating whole nutritious foods that aren't heavy or are going to weigh you down. You want to try and cut out like all meat, all highly processed deep fried shit, at least 2 to 3 days before going into this experience. You want to be eating, fruits and vegetables, whole nutritious foods of nature, light foods that are essentially replenishing, and foods that aren't heavy or going to hold you down. I think this is another important thing to be aware of, because, when you do eat meat, essentially you take on the energy of that meat, and that is what you have to be aware of. And you don't want to be eating heavy foods that are going to hold you down. You want to be as light as you can, and essentially have a bit of a fast before you head into something like this, because the more of a fasted state you're in, the better the benefits you are going to reap from having the mushrooms. You want to seek a practitioner who is highly experienced in leading people through this journey or through this experience. Someone preferably who knows a lot about spirituality and can hold that space. Someone who is going to take you through like a breathwork session prior, or implement other things like cacao or harpe during the ceremony. This is a very ceremonial based practice, and that is the way it has to be done. If it's not done in this way, then you're not going to reap the benefits that you should be reaping from this experience. Now, remember, guys, mushrooms are a powerful, powerful, powerful medicine. They really are, and you can't abuse the medicine. You can't neglect the fact that they are powerful and they will change your life. And this also kind of leads me on to the point that the first time you do it, you don't want to take a big dose. You want to dose about between 1 to 2 grams, and somewhere in between there, depending on how strong the mushrooms are. Different mushrooms have different strengths, and a good starting point is somewhere between 1 and 2 grams. Because if you dive deep and take a big dose for the first time, it will essentially crush your reality too hard, and it could be too much for you. The way I've always seen it, and the best way it's worked for me, is to start lightly, start moderately, and if you find that it's a beneficial experience for you, then work your way in further and deeper and bigger doses. And also, another really important thing is you want your mindset to be in a good spot. You want to be in a happy, positive space when you go into this experience. And that's not to say not to do it if you're depressed or anxious, because this sort of medicine helps to clear up depression and anxiety and bad thinking patterns. But all I'm saying is you want to be in a position where you've done the best you can for your mind prior to the experience. You want to get good sleep, you want to get good sunlight, you want to surround yourself with positive information and positive people before heading into this experience, so you can get the best out of it. And I know for a lot of people it can be a scary thing. For me, it was a very scary thing, stepping into the unknown. But essentially, doing the thing that scares you, doing the thing you fear, is the thing you need to do to break through into that new realm of confidence and self-belief. And it's the most powerful thing you can do, facing your fear head on. Another very important thing you want to be aware of is how important it is going to be to have an intention before you go into this experience. Because more often than not, when you have an intention before going into this experience, you're going to come out on the other end enlightened to that question or that intention that you've put into it. If you just go into it without having any intention or any sort of questions, then, you know, you may not reap as much benefit from the whole experience in itself. If you have an intention and have a certain thought or questions into going into the experience, more often than not, you'll find yourself coming out on the other end, you know, enlightened to that intention and gaining the answers or gaining the knowledge to the intention you went in with. So it's very important to go in with a solid intention, something you want to get out of the experience. This is where the real growth happens, you know, this is where the real transformation happens. Having that intention, going in with that intention and coming out on the other end with the answers. And so guys, this is a very unique kind of thing, you know. There's many people who shy away from the idea of this sort of thing because it's very foreign, it's very ritualistic. It's essentially like a ceremony, you know. It's like a kind of like a religion in itself, but it's not. And that's why a lot of people who are already set in their own ways of thinking, set in their own religion, shy away from it and don't, you know, shun upon it, because it opens up, you know, new ideas, new realms. And if people are closed off, that's not the sort of thing they're interested in. And that's why it's so powerful. That's why it is so profound, because it helps to break your conditioning, it helps to break social constructs, and it helps to break open your mind to allow new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of thinking, and a whole new, better, upgraded reality. And that's the power in it. It really is. And that's why you want to ease your way in. Take the small steps first, and then bigger and bigger and bigger steps. You say, if you go into the gym for the first time and try and squat 200 kilos, you're going to get fucking crushed. And that's the same with mushrooms. If you go in for the first time and you take 5-6 dried grams, it's going to crush your reality. And some people aren't ready for that. Some people aren't ready for that ego death. And that's the truth. So if you haven't taken this before, start small, start moderate, and get a feel for it. Get a feel for what it's like. You know, like, you'll kind of see what it does on all sorts of levels. And that's the best way to work into it. That's the best way to work into anything is by starting small and working your way into it on a deeper and bigger level. And so that's kind of what I wanted to educate you guys on that haven't had this experience before, haven't taken mushrooms before. You know, these points are extremely important. Your environment and the people you're with is extremely important. What you do leading up to the ceremony or to the ritual is very, very important. And having an intention and you know, kind of being in the right mindset is also very important. And so I invite you guys to really reflect on what I'm saying, because this drug, which isn't really a drug in my opinion, it's more of a plant medicine, is a reflective medicine. It helps you to self-reflect on your life. It helps you to look back on your life and see how you've been living, so you can essentially learn from it and live a better life, live a better experience. And so this is what I would kind of try and, you know, invite you guys to really think about and really get right before you go into this, because these things are the things that are going to make the experience worthwhile. Thanks for listening to my message, guys. As always, I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I truly want each and every one of you to live a better, more happy, more purposeful life. As always, big love, big peace, and we'll see you again soon, guys.